things I've got to do while I'm living in an RV here in this RV park in the middle of winter. It's cold. That's the big problem. It's just cold. So you can see I put a skirt on. It's not a fancy skirt. It's a cheap skirt. I spent $100 in materials. $100 in materials, but it's doing the job. I just kind of taped it up and put some screws up underneath so that I'm not, putting screws in the side of my RV here or anything. But it's doing the job. Keeping the underneath from getting too cold. And I put in some boards here too, and some of the other gaps and whatnot to help keep me warm, or help keep those gaps from letting the air flow through. And that's really the whole point here, is to keep airflow from going underneath the RV so that things under there don't freeze. And I got some heating pads to put under there. I've got the tank warmers, heating pads, and I got some extra heating pads put under there, just make sure things don't freeze under there. Helps keep things a little bit warmer inside too, but not by much. Mostly just to keep things from freezing. Now, propane. I got this thing called an Extend-A-Stay. Hooks in between the regulator and the valve on my propane tank. It has a valve here where you can plug in an exterior thing like a grill or something, and then this right here has some cracks in it. That's not good. Anyway, it comes out over here. It connects to this 30-gallon propane tank I got. My dad brought it over. He had it sitting in his garage. Wasn't using it, so it makes it a lot easier to fill up. I don't have to move the RV and go fill up. I think they're plowing snow here too. Tractor's going on over there. Another issue I had. I don't know if I can show it from here. Trump out in the snow to show it so you can see it. There it is. The fridge vent. So it was snowing really bad last weekend, and it covered up the whole top and covered up that fridge vent, and next thing you know, my fridge isn't working. So these propane fridges, oh, I got some mail. Cool. Airflow. There's vents here for a reason, and there's a vent up there for a reason. It's called airflow. Without that air flowing, your RV fridge doesn't work, because it's designed to, it heats up some chemicals, and those chemicals run through some pipes, and those pipes pull heat out of your fridge and your freezer. But if they can't get rid of the heat, they can't keep pulling heat out of the freezer. So without that airflow, they can't get rid of the heat, and next thing you know, your fridge isn't working anymore. And I think mine got to a point where it went to like a vapor lock or something, because even after clearing the snow off, it still wasn't working. I had to shut it down, let it, my neighbor's driving off in his car. That's another fun thing. Getting stuck in the snow. I had to go get my tires siped. Which is where they cut slits in your tires. I don't know if you can see it, but it helps with the ice. Anyway, got my fridge working again by shutting it down for a while, letting it cool off, letting the vapor lock clear out, and turn it back on, plug it back in, and start working again. I did some things inside too. And I'll probably do some videos on this a little bit later, show you some more details on how I did it, but we'll start up front. The cab, oh, it's drafty. It was so drafty, just constant draft coming off the cab, and that makes it hard to keep it warm in here, you know. It really does. So I went and bought some felt, and you can see it hanging down the bottom of this. This thing doesn't actually cover the cab all the way. So bought some felt, sewed up the edges, sewed on some Velcro to put it up there. It's still a bit drafty, but it's better than it was. I then went to DI and Goodwill. If you don't know what DI is, it's basically a Goodwill type store, but DI is more common around here. So down here, I got some towels and I stuffed them underneath the slides because another spot that was drafty and whatnot. And you'll notice I picked up some scraps of carpet from a construction job I was helping out with. They were just going to throw them away because they're left over, but picked them up, put them in the hallways and stuff, along with my rugs that I already had. Covered up the floor. It really helps a lot with the cold floor, because man, the floor gets cold. It really does. Even with the skirt on and the heaters and stuff underneath. It's again, the heaters underneath, the heating pads underneath are just to keep things from freezing. They're not going to keep things like warm under there. They just keep things above freezing. But anyway, that helped a lot. Here's another thing that has helped with reducing the amount of propane I'm using. Little space heater. But I had a problem with the space heater. It was tripping the breaker whenever I was trying to cook food and use the space heater at the same time. It was getting over 30 amps and tripped my main breaker, and so I ran some separate plugs, separate circuit, separate plugs. One back here by the main bedroom. I ran it through the bathroom behind this this thing back here, and it's hard to point backwards. Anyway, there's the other end of it. I put one up here too, near the kitchen, so that I could do some extra stuff there. And that switch there is for the extra heating pads there. This is 120 volt 20 amp circuit that I put in, and there's on the outside of the RV where I plug in the main 30 amp circuit, I added an extra inlet there and use a 20 amp power cord to go from the 20 amp receptacle on the power outlets stuff outside to bring it inside. And I left a little extra space there on the side, so in case I ever redo this floor, I can put some underfloor heating on whatever I redo it with. I'll put some underfloor heating under that and put a thermostat there to control that. But even with all that, getting down into the teens and the occasional negative or single digit, I'm using a good amount of electricity. I'm still having to buy propane every 2 to 3 weeks on that 30-gallon tank, but without that heater there, I'd probably be buying propane every week. because I'd have to keep the temperature. You know, I wouldn't have anything else to keep things inside here from freezing, and I turn down my heat and everything when I'm not home, so you know, it saves electricity, or doesn't save electricity. I've had that thing on full blast for 2 months now, but it's better than filling up propane every week. Anyway, if you have any tips or tricks or fun things, experiences you've had with living in an RV in the wintertime, go ahead and leave me a comment down below. If you appreciate this video, give me a like, and check out my affiliate link to Amazon. Check out some of my gear there. If you purchase through there, it helps out the channel. Details below. Check out the description. Yeah, have fun. I mean, why else go on an adventure other than to have fun? And I'm done. Yes, I would like to stop streaming.